know it may seem like DC gets a lot of flack about their films, and well, that's because they do. Whether it's the film is too dark or DC films aren't fun, one thing you would never be able to say is that the action doesn't deliver. I have seen my fair share of action scenes, specifically in comic book movies. Some are spectacular, and then some are not.
Maybe you do.
And it's pretty easy to distinguish between the two because you feel the intensity as you're watching it on the screen. Are you on the edge of your seat, holding breath with anticipation, or not? After seeing so many great filmmakers create new and interesting ways to build suspense, I think we sometimes forget the action doesn't have to have a time limit or countdown for it to be considered intense.
What the hell is that? Everyone's got a gimmick now.
At the same time, you shouldn't take shortcuts to get through the action in order to pause and make sure the audience knows it's just a movie. The general audience has been conditioned to think that if, during the action, one-liners and quips of humor are streamlined in, that equates to a fun time at the movies.
We're still friends, right?
Depends on how hard you hit me.
I think that is the reason DC gets a lot of hate garnered towards them. Some films make you feel the weight of the situation and allow you, the audience, to experience it as if it were real life. And that's not to say you should only be seeing the main actors involved with the action. Pauses in between consist of the reactions from bystanders or the in-world military.
Are armed to deploy, sir.
DC films have been committed in grounding the reality of what it would be like if these gods among men existed in real time with brilliant CGI and editing. To say a formula is needed to create amazing action would be an injustice to cinema. You don't have to have humor thrown in just to let the audience be less tense. In fact, some of the best actions I've seen have been intense, serious, and well choreographed, which I feel defines DC. Take, for instance, what DC films have created with their grounded fight scenes. Now some have been spectacular to watch, while others shouldn't be considered as watchable. And we all know why. But they've attempted to keep a lot of what works in a very real-world setting. Every cinephile has their own ideologies on what matters when they watch films, of course, and that grows exponentially when us nerds join the fray and scour every frame of action to our heart's content. I'm not really interested in spreading the divide amongst fans even more when I say I like something over another. But I feel that Marvel gets treated like they created cinema, and if it doesn't look similar, then it's trash.
Stop.
Watching a video that claims DC Films doesn't have great action, I feel it's my duty to challenge that thought. Granted, so does my 11-year-old daughter, whose favorite film is Batman v Superman. Why? There are a lot of reasons for this. One of them is making the situations feel real to skew the CGI. Another reason is allowing the viewer to see how the action is happening, to the quick cuts and edits of shaky cam. Also, long take shots like this. But there are a few other things I want to point out. Physics matters. We all know that ordinary humans can't fly into the sky. You get the feeling this is what it would be like. Take, for example, Superman briefly opening his hand. But some might appreciate little details like that more than others, which is more impressive that Snyder would even include it in the Man of Steel. Humans can't fly, but Superman looks like he's learning the ropes of flight and aerodynamics. The physics of him leaning and turning his body show it's real, again, if humans could fly. Now that's not to say every moment needs to have quantum physics in order to explain why certain things happen in a film. Take, for example, Diana busting through the warehouse in Wonder Woman. An explosion happens, causing her to get momentum to enter through the second level. Patty Jenkins does a great job of showing Wonder Woman's strengths, while also giving the audience to see the action unfolding. Or take Superman. Anything showing his power set defies our laws of physics. Yet it's shown to create a world in which we know what it would look like from his perspective. And it's a different type of physics to Kryptonians and other heroes in this cinematic universe. Too often,
Look,
with
I
Marvel
really don't
films
wanna-
having many different directors handling the same characters, physics doesn't seem to matter. Or the camera is shaking so much and cutting to other angles that I'm not able to grasp what is happening in that current moment, making the action seem weightless. And there's not enough difference between how powerful some of the heroes in Marvel are compared to one another. There are no beautifully choreographed long takes to display what the heroes are doing, which brings me to my second point. Use abilities creatively. It's not too often, but in the 5 films released, the interaction of the heroes' abilities with one another is about as comic book accurate as you can get. Or they take something routine being any relative term here, like taking on multiple bad guys while they all try their best to attack at once, and showing real consequences when attempting to do so. In the Marvel Universe, characters gain strengths depending on circumstances, particularly the female heroes. In Black Widow's case, it's wrapping her legs around the head of bad guys. This frustrates me so much because it's so impractical. I never really thought about it until Wonder Woman came out. There has to be some way for her to knock an opponent down, or out, without her legs, right? I know a good filmmaker can figure it out. Finally, the other thing DC films are really good at, the subtlety and humor, and not thrown in your face to offset the serious circumstances happening in the moment. Here are the things DC characters say during pauses.
Well, here I am.
The characters get to say a line or two, and it's earned.
Oh, shit.
Did you find the spear?
I've been a little busy.
This creature, seems to feed on energy.
This thing is from another world. My world.
I've killed things from other worlds before.
She with you?
I thought she was with you.
Good riddance.
Harley! He dies, we die!
Now, here are the things Marvel characters say.
I have sensitive nipples.
Clearly, retirement doesn't suit you. You got tired of shooting golf?
You didn't see that coming?
Crafting well-planned set pieces won't prevent the criticism DC is usually accustomed to. People sometimes don't want serious takes in their comic book films, and that's okay. But I think people could be willing to look past the realism
My turn.
if the films were bland with funny punchlines associated like Marvel. But then, how would DC be any different? They already tried that with Justice League, and look how that turned out. I hope the people behind the DC films currently realize what they've done. If not, we may see a lot more of this,
Slowpoke.
Oh, it's on.
and none of this. Thank you so much for watching. May you live forever.